Hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas and today we're going to be building this really cool animation that you see here that you just saw with this screenshot going to the bottom right. So basically transitioning from under the hero text to inside of this little UI section. And we can also see these little cursors doing a kind of loop here, right? And we're going to be doing that as well. So basically what we're going to be doing is this hero section. And I found this study flow remix link here in the FramerAuth showcase. And if you guys don't know what FramerAuth is a really cool way of adding authentication to your Framer website. So if you're a Framer designer, Framer developer, and you want to add a little bit more of authentication, meaning login, signing in, and pro access, right? If you want to add like some type of membership, you can definitely do that with FramerAuth. And by the way, guys, I have a special offer, 50% off the current price of a bootcamp that I am offering, which basically goes in depth into using FramerAuth. So you can basically build projects like marketplaces, job portals, and more e-commerce things. And the link is below. Check that out if you guys are interested in learning more about FramerAuth. But today, let's do a little bit of a deep dive into this. So like I said, basically this is the hero section, and we have this, once it reaches a certain point, it starts transforming. And basically what you can do is you can also kind of see, you can click on inspect, and then once you click on inspect, you can basically have a good vision of what's happening. So if I were to click here and click on maybe the parent stack of this, and I were to scroll down, you can see that there is something going on here, right? So right now, transform is set to none, but then eventually it says transform set to X and Y and scale, right? It's scaling down while transforming the X and Y position. And then eventually it stays in this position, right? So that's one way of looking at this. The other way is looking at the position. So if I were to scroll down over here somewhere, right, we can see that the position of this is set to sticky, right? So it's set to sticky. That's another important thing to notice. And we can go ahead and try to build this. As you all might know, I usually do my builds without really knowing how to do it first. I kind of know the how to build in Framer. I'm pretty good at that, but the challenge here is to look at something and try to duplicate it, right? I didn't really build this. I didn't build this at all, but I think it's really cool, and I want to show you guys how I go ahead and try to build something that I find interesting online from scratch in Framer. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing you would want to do is obviously open Framer and open a new file. So I have this new file here, and what we're going to do is we're going to set the different breakpoints, so tablet and phone. All right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Chrome, and we're going to take screenshots of these different sections, right? So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So I'll just make sure that it's like this. Boom. Go back to Framer, bring the screenshot to the top, go back to Chrome, and kind of see that it's starting to move. So I'm just going to take another screenshot of this just to show when it starts to really move. Then I'm going to go back to Chrome and kind of take a screenshot of this last part, which we can kind of zoom out a little bit. And let's go like this. And go back to Framer. And press paste. And by the way, everyone, if you are interested in downloading this at the very end, we have a remix link in the description below, so you guys can check that out and download that. but we have this. This is all we need to get started. So let's go ahead and try to, build this in a very basic way without any design first. So in order to do that, let's just add the different sections. So I'm going to make everything here. I'm going to skip this for now because this takes a little bit more detail. But I'm going to build this, and this part just with like text and shapes. So I'm going to start off with the text. So I'm going to put made in Framer. And then at the very end, like I said, once we're confident with the specific design, we can go ahead and style it to our liking. So let's set this to fit. Let's make sure that this is set to fit as well. It's very important. So we got this, let's call this pill, because this is going to be the pill up here. And we're going to want to duplicate this and put this kind of underneath. So let's just drag it out. And we want this to be a larger font. So let's go back up and see what font this is. So this is Instrument Sans, and this is 48 pixels. So let's go back and click on, let's see if they have Instrument Sans. They do. Instrument Sans, 48 pixels. Perfect. And this is about, let's say, semi-bold. Yeah. So let's put like curated Framer consultation sessions, or not curated. Let's put like tailored. And then for here, we would want to put this into another stack. So we're just basically, like I said, building the foundation. Let's call this the header, and the header would have a max width because, and let's make sure that this is set to fill. Perfect. And the header will have a max width, which is fixed 500, or maybe a little bit more, 550. And let's make sure that this text here is centered. And everything is centered. Perfect. So we got that. We're going to eventually need to put this in its own stack. That would be called hero. And hero would be fill and fit content. Perfect. And let's add a padding on the top, 120, bottom 120, so we can have some spacing everywhere. Let's set this to fill. 1 second. There we go. So this is good. And then on the right and left, maybe we can put some, you see that there's this little line, that's going to be that. So let's just put 60-60. And eventually we're going to have this little border line on the left and right. And put that, where was it, like this, 20%. Do we even see it? Oh no, we don't see it. So let's just remove that. We'll do that later. So we have our hero. And now let's just get this and move it out, put it underneath, and this is going to be our description. So we got to put this into its own stack. We'll call this description. And description again will have the same max width, so 550. Fixed 550. And this will be set to fill. And this will be set to this. And then let's just put like a lorem ipsum. So I'm going to go to my plugins and go ahead and type lorem ipsum. And we're going to put 2 sentences, I would say. Let's put apply. Let's put 3. Why not? Apply. 2. I want to make it a little bit shorter. Actually, this one was fine. And let's make this a little bit less opacity. Maybe something like 75 would do. So it's a good hierarchy. And now finally we need this button. So let's just get this pill and duplicate that, bring that down, and let's call this CTA. And for the CTA, we're going to add some padding, and let's style the padding. So top, let's put 12, top and bottom 6, 6 like this. If you want to like really make it precise and look at like so that it looks like this one, I would just advise you to inspect and select this, and then click on this whenever you see the green, and then you can see it's 20, 12. So let's just do it like that, 20, 20, 12, 12. So 20, 20, 12, 12, 20, 20, well actually it's 12, 12, 20, 20. And then we have this color, which is this one, RGB. RGB doesn't work for us, unfortunately. Let's see if we can highlight this, 16170D. Let's do it. Let's just do it like that. Framer 16170D, 16170D, and that's going to be our black. And this is going to be white. And let's just make this instrument sans and put this like medium. And let's give it a little bit of a border. So now we have our little call to action. Very simple, right? Let's adjust the gaps everywhere. So we can do that by going like this. And let's put these together in the description. Let's put these three together and add a stack and put this like top. And then now these are a little bit more together and it looks more realistic. For this pill, let's just add a padding. Just add some type of padding. And a border. That would be about 20% or a little bit more, 40, and a radius, so it's circular, and 16, or let's put 12 and 12. Looks a little bit better. Perfect. And something like this looks good. All right, so we have our hero section, really quickly made. And again, we can also, I'm gonna make this in dark mode at the end. I like it more than the white mode. So we can go ahead and set this to black and set this to white and set this to black. And these can all be set to white. It's kind of weird because this black over here is not really black. It's like green black. So let's just make it a little bit more on this side. And let's set this fill to white and this to black. And this solid can be set to white as well. Perfect. So it's looking good. I want to see how they do it over here. So yeah, it would look something like this. They actually have a dark button. So, okay, now let's do this section. So we can here add a type of frame for beginners. So we can just click on F and make a kind of dummy thing here. We can put it into this dark color look. And let's put it under the hero. And, oh, I'm sorry. Let's get this. And you can see here that the frame is looking like this. And let's make sure that this background is set to this color. So boom. And let's just remove this. Let's make this the black. There we go. All right, so this would be our little animation, right? And then it's gonna have a scroll animation And we want to put this in another stack that would be quite large, I would say. And we can put 120, 120. I don't know if gap is the right thing to do. I think it's nice if it doesn't have any gap. And maybe that the height is set to fixed and going upwards like this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, guessing at this point. But this is what I think it would be like. And then after this, what we want to do is we want to add another frame. So we can duplicate this, and we can set this one to fit in the height, fit content. And here, this one would basically be a little bit lighter, just so that we can see. And now let's try to do this animation. So if we go like this, it stays sticky, and then once it reaches a certain point, maybe the middle of this section, so we can maybe add a scroll section to this. I'm again just guessing, right? So we can put start here, and then for this, let's put this to sticky. And let me just play. Okay, it won't be sticky because this needs to be set to visible, and this needs to be set to visible. And now it can be sticky. So it will be sticky until a certain point. And we need this to have a style that is z-index. Okay, this is already added. Z-index would have to be like 2 or 3, maybe. Let's see. So 2. Or this would have to have a style z-index of 0. Okay, I guess it doesn't. See how we do this. So this is already working with the stickiness. We would probably have to set this to be a little bit lower, so it's not at the very top. You see how it's sticky like this? And then we do a type of effect, scroll transform. So on section and view, on scroll, from, we can put opacity 1, scale 1, 2, we can do like this. We can set offset, or we can do scale something small. And then, oh, sorry, not skew, but not rotate, but offset. And we can just go something like this. And then we can do like this. I'm just trying right now. Let's see. Okay, it's working. It's working. Let me just see that again. Okay. I want to just duplicate this a few times. I want to see how this looks like. So right now there's nothing. So I want to inspect this. Click on this here. So this says position absolute. This one says position . Where's the position? I don't really see it. Sticky. Image replace here. Okay, so that's the stack. This is the image. And then this is the div. The video player will change. Transform. Okay, and I want to see if this section here, so there's like a scroll section, you see? Container. You just see we have these different things. Div transform image by theme. Div block. Okay, this is the image. This is the world image that you can see in the background. So section, we have the container, which is this one. And then we have the different things. Framer hidden left column. Let me use this light mode. Okay, no. Div, class, hidden. I want to see what this is. Does this have something of a scroll section? Through hidden. Doesn't appear to have something like that. Top bar, landing page, container. Okay, this is underneath. This is from the nav bar. Variant hidden. Framer. Does this have a type of scroll section? I just want to check to see that. Doesn't seem to. Variant hidden. Okay. All right, let's go back to Framer and try to build this again. And let's put this transform to, let's put this a little bit lower, be like 500. And we might want to set this to fit content. I'm just testing this out. Okay, so this might have to be absolute. Or actually, we might have to have this as a fixed, and then add stack, and then this might have to be absolute. No. Okay, let's go back to what it was before. It basically stops here. I want to see this. See, next one, sticky, top 320 pixels. It says that it's from the top 320 pixels. We'll change, transform. So it basically changes eventually. What is it? 320 pixels. Okay. And then maybe it's scroll on scroll layer in view. No, it's not this. It's a scroll transition. But it doesn't happen automatically. It has to stop. It begins and then it stops. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out right now, because it stays like stick here and then eventually it starts to scroll. So I'm just trying to check this out. So something we can try is actually this section in view. So this section, which is called start, right? What we did before, we can do scroll from 1 to this little one, and we can actually bring this up to be like over here, and we can, you know, make it look nice. So whenever this section is in view here, then it starts to do it. And we can select this section, and then we can just try this out. Let me see how this, I want to do something like this. Okay, and then you can see that it stops. So that's exactly what we want. We can scroll like this, and then eventually it's going to stop. So we want this, to be, right, so we have something good going on. So 4, 8, 9, and let's make this kind of invisible. So actually opacity set to 0. Let's set this to fill the width. And then if I press play again, now we can kind of see that it stays below this. And we can even adjust this height to be a little bit higher. Let's see how this, to react. Perfect. Look at that. So nice. And we can even make this a little bit like this. And we can adjust the height of this to be, you know, not so. So something like this would look cool. But like, let's try with 120, just to see, right? Okay, so it's looking good. Let's try with 20. I'm just to be curious. I don't really think anything is changing. Let's adjust this to be lower. And we have this down here. And perfect. Now we got that. animation covered. So what we can do is we can just delete this one, and let's add some padding at the bottom here. And we might want to keep this at a fixed width. Perfect. And for the phone, for the other views, we'd have to adjust this, but we'll do that once that comes. I don't think on the phone we're gonna have this animation. I don't think they even have this on their phone. So if we can just click here to something like iPhone. Oh, they do. They do have it. Okay, so we can put that responsive. And now let's just make sure that we have a nice, good looking image here for image graphic, right? So we can do something that's, let's put it back to 100. So let's create like a nice little graphic for this and for this, right? And in order to do this, what I'm going to basically do is just go to Midjourney and generate a few graphics. So I'm going to go back to Framer, go back to my canvas, and I'm going to put here, let's call this graphic 1, or let's call this hero graphic. And let's make sure we get the same dimensions, so 744, 489. So 744, 489. And now what we can do is we can use this as a type of graphic, right? So let's put, let's go to midjourney.com and create some nice, a profile shot, 1 second, of a woman looking, of a woman, let's say, can we do like this describe thing here? I don't think so. Of a woman smiling at her screen. Video call perspective. Let's just hit on create and see how this looks like. And if that doesn't work, what we can also do is we can go here and just click on another frame. Put this frame in here. And go to fill and plug in Lumi and click on profile shot. So not really. So go back to Framer, let's see. Profile shot, computer. We can use this one. And maybe we can just use one image. Actually, this is a little bit too big. We can put him down here and give him a nice border, radius, and the border would be like white, I would say. And then for this one, we can just add a image, plugin, Lumi, and profile shot, computer, perspective. Let's see. We can do something like this. So we have her talking to him, and he's the consultant. And let's just call this hero graphic. And what I can do is I can copy this hero graphic from the canvas to here. Boom. And we can use this as the little graphic. Now, for this one, they did it very interestingly. They have it optimized for dark and light mode. And if you can inspect this, they actually built this UI in Framer. But we're not going to be doing that because it takes a lot of time. We could do it eventually one day, but look, they have everything built in Framer, which is pretty impressive. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to get a screenshot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a screenshot of this and kind of do something like this. Boom. And basically replace this with this fill. So if I go to images, choose image, and I go to my recents, which is the screenshot. Click open. It basically creates this nice little perspective, and I can just adjust the sizing a bit. And then we have this going like this downwards, right? We can also adjust this animation to be where is it? Let's see, our layers. This frame, right? This frame can basically be 2, and let's put something like this. Let's see how this looks like. Perfect. And then we have it like this. There we go. And let's look at this one. Yeah, it's basically kind of like the same style. So now, if you can see, they have these nice lines here. I want to add that as well to ours. So if we go back here, and basically what I want to do is I want to create a padding here on the left and right. 6 and 60, and then every one of these. So let's also adjust the gap. Make sure that it's looking fine. Still looking good. Maybe this can go a little bit higher in terms of the Y. So something like this. Perfect. And let's add a nice, so hero graphic. Let's add a nice touch to this border radius, something like this. And then it goes down here. Perfect. So let's add these lines. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these main stacks. This is going to be like UI. I'm going to select all of these, go down to border, click 0, and then on the left and right, 1. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to make this white, but we're going to decrease this to about 20%. And then they also have this on the, oh, they don't, okay. But in some sections they have like this divider. We can do that as well. So basically what you do is, you add these divider things, but I guess they didn't do it because it's like this is all in like one section. But we can add a divider down here at the end of this UI, and basically go back to border and add one in the B. And basically the next section would look like that. So in this case, let's just remove it. Keep it clean like this. So now it's looking good. We have our nice little design. Let's actually make this, I guess he had like a nice gray color to this. Let's do that as well. So it stays nice and consistent. Let's keep this white. And let's add this button text. So start your session, or start for free. Nice. And then what we can do is we can also add a type of pattern animation, or not animation, nice pattern in the background. So for my Framer web app bootcamp or course, however you want to call it, we actually built a similar template, an ebook marketplace, basically using this same type of style, as you can see. So if you were to add these different things and these different lines everywhere, it would look kind of like this. But in this case, we want to just use this image. So I use this image. This is a pattern generator. So you can go here, I believe, and we can think of something like this scattered one. Click here, we can remove the background and put the foreground, make it white, and then apply the pattern. Okay, we have to select the layers. So let's just do this. Apply pattern. And see how it looks like, if it even works. Oh yeah, it does work. So it does work. It has like this scattered dots thing. So let's just put it in here and let's make this absolute. And let's put this as a 0 index. Let's remove the color from here. And you can adjust the opacity to be much lighter. And then we can have like some type of cool little pattern like this. I don't really like the scattered one, so let's just delete this for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to again select this, go back to our pattern studio, and pick one that might be good, that we might like. And we can pick something like maybe the polka dots. So let's just click this, remove the background, put this as white, stroke can be 1. We can set the angle to be more horizontal. So we can do something like 45, if I can reach 45. Well, 44 does it. So apply pattern, boom. The pattern's there, we gotta make it absolute, and we have to make it go to the top and be relative 100% everywhere. And let's actually make this, okay, we gotta do this. Relative 100, 100, boom. And then we have this nice looking background. It's gonna be 0. This has to be 1. This has to be 2, especially this. Well, yeah, this whole thing has to be a little bit more. This one has to be 2. There we go. Perfect. It's looking good. And this has to be set to 1 as well. Boom. That's looking good. Now let's check these polka dots and adjust this to be less opacity everywhere, maybe very, very minimal. And you can add a type of blending, something like this. And I want to just make sure, no, this doesn't work. We can rotate it, I guess. No. Filters, hue, grayscale, sepia, contrast, brightness. We can blur it a little bit if we wanted to. So it has like a little bit of a, and then we can put this into its own stack. That would have to be absolute and be relative 100 and 100, and go to the very top. And we got that. And now what we can do is we can actually bring in another frame that's going to be this background color, right? And then we can make it be give it a gradient, right? So we go here and we again choose this background. You go again here, choose the background color, and this would be set to 0. And then this can be kind of put into this stack, which would be called background. And the frame can go up here to the top. So let's make this, give this a style, the index of 0. And you can start seeing that it's looking good. We're just adding a little bit of styling. There we go. And if we were to press play, you can kind of see that it's kind of fading away. That's one way of doing it. and then boom, you have this like this. So again, the polka dots might be a little bit too much. You don't have to use it. But this is basically it. This is how to build this animation. And if we wanted to do those cursors that you can see here, which is over here, you can just create these in the canvas. So let me just take a screenshot of this and go to Framer and go to Pages, New Canvas. I can bring this in, and what I would do is I would just use the graphics tool, create a graphic like this, and inside of this I would create something similar to this, which would basically be something like this, right? And then you can add some fill that is, you know, purple, and add some, select these different things and give it an array. No array. We don't want this. We want the radius to be a little bit like this. So we have the graphic, and then we just need like this guy, this pill. We can just copy this, go back to our canvas, press paste, make sure that this is called student. Make sure that this is a little bit less, maybe 4. Remove the solid and add a fill. That would be this purple. Make it like this, and we can edit the size of this to be much smaller. Something like this. And then what we'll do is we just do this, and we fit this to fit the content of here. And we can just remove this fill. This can be called cursor. We go here, cursor, and then we do another variant. We could just go like this and make this green. So go here and let's make it orange. And then we can just select these, go back to our page, put them here in this layer, paste, and make them absolute. And then we can just move these around. So we can move this cursor to go here, and this one to go here. And then basically what we got to do is we have to add a type of effect called a loop. And this loop would, let's just leave this like this. And we put mirror, and we put like a 1 second delay. And then it goes, this one can go over here and downwards. And this one would also have an effect loop, 1 second delay. Set this to 0, and this can go, actually this can go upwards to here. So if I were to press play, I want to see how that works. And it's looking weird because it's not mirrored, so we gotta just do that. Let's just mirror this one and mirror this one, so they're both mirrored. And now we can see how this looks like. And what we can do is we can edit this to be a little bit more of a delay, so that it's not always the same time, you know? There we go. And that's how we do it. That's how we do that little effect. And then what we do in order to make this responsive, I would say we can just make sure that this size is set to fill. Let me just, actually no, we don't want to do that. We want this to be set to fill, a relative 100. And then we want this to be set to fill, but a max width of 744. And then we put a max width 744. And then for here, basically we just need for this stack, let me lock this. For this stack, we would need padding on the right and left, so that on the tablet it looks like this. And then we can just scroll down. It would looks good here. On the tablet, we might have to edit the effect of this to be something like this. So let's see here. Let's just make sure that it's looking good. Okay. And the tablet is also okay. Needs to be a little bit higher. No problem. Let's just edit that. Let's try again. Also a little bit higher. Actually, this needs to be set to fill with a max width of 862. So this needs to be fill, max width 860. Let's just put. We'd have to adjust this to be something like this, and let's give this also a padding on the right and left. And then we gotta edit this to be much higher. I would say let's just try something like this. A little bit higher and a little bit more to the left. Boom, that looks good. All right, and now the phone, the most complicated part. Let's just make sure that this is a little bit lower, and this graphic has to be set to relative 100. This image has to be smaller here, and this stack has to have less. We want to have overall less padding everywhere because it's the phone view. So we want something like this, and let's make sure that this is set to fill. It is fill. And why is okay? This needs to be set to fill as well. And this, we might want to make it much smaller. this as well. Again, you'd have to, adjust your text styles. And then here, we want to make this also a bit shorter. Something like this. I guess they're using like a mobile view on their phone and in their end. No, it's also kind of like a half. So let's just do something like that. Let's leave it like this, but let's maybe put this left. There we go. And then we can use this cursor, put this cursor over here. And this cursor has to go a little bit more on screen. Oh, actually, over here. And then let's just edit the transform to go a little bit more downwards and a little bit straighter down. It's a different movement. And much higher in terms of this Y. Let's put it like up here, I guess, 420, the lucky number. Okay, a little bit lower. So let's put like 520. See how that looks like. That's good. A little bit lower, and I think we're good. So 520, let's go to like 560. Boom. 560 is fine. Whatever. It's good. All right. So we got that. I see that this one is missing as well. So let's bring this one in so we don't lose him. And I just want to see how this looks like. Okay, that's good enough. All right, perfect. So we did it. We managed to do that cool little effect. All responsive, by the way. It's looking great. So this is how the final result looks like, which is amazing. I hope you guys like it. Again, I'm going to have this in the description below as a remix link. Please like and subscribe my channel if you like this type of content, if you want to keep on learning. And if you want to build advanced web apps like this one that we just saw today, where it has pro access, you have authentication, you have, protected pages, you have subscription models for your Framer site. If you want to sell like some type of digital product, or if you want to learn how to build these types of projects, go to my link where we right now have a special offer. If you're watching this video, 50% off, and it's right here. And if this special offer is gone, please let me know and tell me that, or comment below that you watched this video, and I'll send you a 50% off just for watching this video. So thank you guys so much for being here, and hope you guys enjoyed the project. Wish you guys a wonderful day, and bye-bye.